Today, you will hear me thinking out loud. I've been in therapy for 2 years. Today, you sit where my therapist usually sits. Therapy should not constitute if someone is weak. Therapy does not make me weak. In fact, I think that therapy is what made me have the courage to speak to you today. Imagine, alone in my room with my dog. At once, there was darkness inside me. Disorientation and dizziness. My vision narrowed, and I grabbed onto my dog for my only sense of comfort. The darkness moved outside of me, and I'm half blacked out. On October 17, 2021, my father died due to the effects of COVID-19. I do not ask of this afternoon for pity or sympathy. I invite you to follow me today as I describe how I dare to keep on after his death. My first panic attack, I lay in my bed waiting for my mom to set things right. And my mom and I ended up in Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, where the doctor recognized that I had had a panic attack. The first panic attack became my Ted Lasso episode. In the popular TV show, Ted Lasso speaks to his therapist of how his father killed himself when he was a teenager. Lasso was angry for his dad of leaving him as a teenager. And that is exactly how I felt. My dad's death left me alone with that dark thing inside me. My mom also had anger at my dad, and I bore the shock of his death and my anger for letting him go. Anger and grief live together and want to destroy us. But therapy was what saved my life. Those first therapy appointments were mainly about talking about my dad. Frustration and sadness beat me down, and I kept talking about not calling my dad when he was in the hospital, and I blamed myself. False hopes and optimism misled me while he struggled with COVID. Everyone wanted to protect me. After all, I was 15. They wanted to protect me, but here I was trying to tell this therapist how angry that made me. I want to tell you how angry that made me. I felt that dark thing trying to drown me, silence me, and hurt me. But I knew what I was supposed to feel. I was supposed to be strong for my mom. I was supposed to be there for my brother and sister. Hell, I was supposed to feel happy my dad wasn't suffering any longer. So what right did I have to support anyone else when I had failed my dad? I meant to call him more often. I promised him, but I wasted our last phone call talking about school and wrestling and little things that didn't matter. I didn't read between the lines of his condition, but I wanted to break heads in that first wrestling match after he had died. Adrenaline and anger had left me crying in the corner. Everything tumbled together. And he wasn't there, and he isn't here anymore. Then I learned of my own physical condition requiring surgery, and I couldn't wrestle or work out anymore, which had destroyed me physically and mentally. And I was caged with my thoughts and could not distract myself by working out. And I knew I had to go to therapy, and it saved my life. Confronting surgery, I thought, if something did go wrong, I'd pass away, and I'd finally be back with my Father. Imagine you're in the therapist seat. What do you say to a grief-stricken teenager whose vision turns backwards and not forwards, his death and my own physical challenges forced me to see that I was short-circuited? Therapy helped me see that I needed to seek connections where I had not seen them before. For example, how my family and I always loved cars. In 7th grade, my dad took me to a car meet where it was the first time I got to sit in a Corvette. My dad told me stories of how he fixed up a truck he bought with my mom in Mexico, which I enjoyed and adored listening to him. And I liked fixing and struggling on suspension with my brother and cousin on his truck. And for the first time with working on that truck, I remembered smiling, and cars were the reminder of how much I love my life. With that, therapy helped me see I had to become a dad to myself. I had to find him in my decisions and thoughts. So again, you sit where a therapist sits. What have we accomplished this afternoon? If you understand the importance of parenting yourself, we have accomplished something today. We don't leave grief behind us. We learn to walk with grief alongside us. So I ask today that you can parent yourself. And with that, to always remember your loved ones and how I always carry my dad alongside me and how I always hold him nearby as a truck and a memory of his gray Tacoma. And if any of you who have connected with my talk and want to cherish those loved ones, I have set up Hot Wheels and Matchboxes in the lobby so that you may cherish those times with your loved ones. Thank you. Gracias.